And it says we're live. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, LinkedIn. Good morning, Peter.
He's on
And
the
good morning,
phone.
John.
Keith, I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of my weekly programme, so I'm going to hate to speak to you later about it, okay?
Good morning, John.
Okay, cheers, bye-bye.
Right, okay. So we're going live in 4 different places and the website today. And we'll be with you in a moment when we drunk our coffee, drunk our tea, and generally got ready for this week. Yeah, so the clock's going to stop in a minute. And when it does, you'll see us. That's the theory anyway. Okay. I want to say a big thank you to Rayan Alwala, who has actually been promoting my broadcast in the last couple of days. So, well, my viewing numbers this week have been totally amazing. Good morning, Peter.
Morning.
Good morning, John.
Good morning.
And to our viewers on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter and Twitch, good morning. Welcome to the show. This is Blabbing for Britain, episode 341. I'm going to adjust that, Peter, because that's not the way we want it, is it? Just a minute. If I go there and apply, that's better. Okay, so
You
we're all
look
set.
like a scruffy devil this morning, Peter. Are we growing a beard?
It's the way I'm feeling about life just now, to be honest with you. I haven't slept for days. I done 22 miles yesterday on my bike, and I thought, wow, this will give me a good sleep. I was wide awake through the night.
No, exercise is not a guarantee of sleep, is it? I mean, the two are different animals. I mean, if you're knackered, you should sleep, but you don't, because your body's asleep or trying to get to sleep and your mind's awake.
Yeah.
Huh?
I don't know. It's been like this for a while now.
Right.
Anyway, so you know how I like a shave, but I'll tell you what, I like a shave. No, like I'll shave tomorrow's Friday, so I'll be shaving tomorrow.
Right.
You know.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Thoughts on Monday's events? The funeral of Queen Elizabeth II.
I think so many people have commented on it. Is there any point? There's a few people who I've unfollowed because of the stupid comments they've made.
I haven't seen many anti-royalist comments. Have you, Peter?
I've seen some up here. No, it's the death of a person, and even Republicans on Ireland have said someone's died. They've got family.
Yeah.
Do you know? There's respect in war. Soldiers respect the other side. You know. Well, some of them, unless they commit atrocities, but they still respect the other side at times. You know. And it's just, I've just had enough of them spouting off. Everybody spouting off. I hardly make any comments politically or anything now. I really do. Probably people up here will go against me because I've got this flag behind me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But there's more of us than you think.
I've got one of those on my allotment, you know, Peter.
Have you? Good for you.
Put it up for the platinum and it's still there.
Yeah.
And when you look around, you'll find at least half a dozen others out of the 82 people who are on the allotments. There's 82 people. There's 107, I think it is, actual plots.
Yeah, having said that, right, there was still hardly any Union flags up in this city. There wasn't a lot. You know, you
I'd say there was much here though, Peter, either.
Was there not?
No.
Yeah.
The flag at the council house was a half-mast and the flag outside the Land Rover Works, which is the largest employer.
Yeah.
But beyond that, there wasn't much.
Yeah.
I did see a house up the road with the largest flag I've ever seen draped down the front of the house on Monday. And all the windows that weren't covered by the flag had got little Union flags in the window. So they're clearly a staunch royalist, but they were the only people in the road with a flag.
Yeah. I mean, Monday itself was a celebration of being British.
How did either of you watch much of it?
Me, I watched a lot.
Right, we watched the service from 11 till 12:15, and then took a break, and then we missed the 4:00 service, for which I got it in the neck. But
I have to admit that I watched about half an hour, and then I went down the allotment.
Who give you in the neck, Stephen?
we missed the 4:00 service because I said that's a repeat, and Angelica said no, that's not repeat. That's different from this morning. And anyway, I managed to find a copy of it later in the day, and we watched it last thing. But it was a day of history, wasn't it? I mean, 70 years on the throne, service to the people, and a magnificent send-off. I can't say anything better than that, really.
I mean, I watched it because I love all the military music and the standards, and and being an ex-soldier, I would have loved to have been there on that parade. I mean, being a soldier, I'll tell you who are really good. Those people, the Navy guys pulling that carriage. That was some sight. And that was some sight.
Plenty of things to remember from the day.
Yeah.
And now we can and should move forward because we have King Charles. And I'm just going to mention this once today. We have Liz Truss. And Liz Truss is currently in America setting the world to rights, but we've got a budget tomorrow. And Kwasi is going to deliver his first budget. And I've just got to say, just for a moment, that I can see now how Liz Truss came to power. People with money, and that includes big business, have an agenda, and they want to see that agenda fulfilled. And Liz Truss is the lady to do it. It's as simple as that. I think that's my conspiracy theory for the day, that she's been backed by big business to actually work in their favor. We'll see, though.
Yeah. I mean, everything's I've seen a cracking video of a man who stood up in America, and he said, what he said was so true. He says, you won't see them saying anything on the pharmaceuticals. Nothing bad.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the revenue, they get a lot of money from the same said pharmaceuticals. And it's all about manipulation. And we had to see a film last night, and it was with the Washington Post. We've seen it before. Let's watch it again. And the lady was left the Washington Post, and she was leaned on. But you can't say this; it'll cause a problem with the government and everything. And there was big debate, and she says, "Go for it." She was ready to go to jail for it, because that's what could have happened. And the lawyer said, look, if you do this, you could go to jail. She goes, well, I'll be the only one that goes to jail. Another person. He goes, yeah. And the editors, none of my staff will. No. She said, go for it. And that was the change in the Washington Post. And they really tried to lean in her. And Nixon was seen saying, the Washington Post will get nowhere. They will get into nothing. And nothing, because it's recorded, nothing they will get into. Let them know. Photographers, nothing. And then the next scene was what?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Watergate. Somebody broke in and took your tapes, and it just shows you how far they go.
yeah. We say good morning to our first new viewer. Salman Hassan is saying good morning. And we also have good morning. Well, we have a comment from, say hello to Zen Mice. Good morning, lads. Does anybody know? I don't know. Zen.
Tell us where you're from. I've got a feeling you're from Salam Alaikum, if that means anything to you.
I don't know.
A wee bit of diversity there.
True,
Anyway,
true. We definitely have a new audience this morning.
That's good.
And, thank you for watching us live.
Please type in where you have found us. That would be a good idea.
Yeah, basically, as I say, top of the program, Rayan Alawala, who many people follow, in fact, millions of people follow, actually saw my Amazon Live broadcast on Tuesday and shared it. And getting shared by him is the greatest thing that can happen, because then he's recommending his followers to come and watch, and they did in their hundreds. And we get an answer now.
Where is he from, Stephen?
Right. Zen Mice is actually from Leeds. Well, Zen Mice doesn't give much away, we've got to say. He doesn't identify. I mean, that's not a Yorkshire name, is it? I mean, come on.
Well, he's coming into the wrong place about mice, because I'll zap him.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
You can work that one out.
Yeah, Aberkill. John, any thoughts on politics?
Nah, leave it alone this week. Let's have a week off politics.
Okay, and
nothing much has happened lately, has it?
Further explanation. I'm a friend of Steve's, been watching a good while. Thought I'd say hi for once. Okay, all will be revealed at some point. Right. Thank you very much. Okay. Right. Formula One then. Let's talk about Formula One. Peter and John can go to sleep now at this point.
It's like tennis, isn't it?
When I started following Formula One, which was a few years ago, it was all about the racing and the skill of the drivers and the engineers who created the most amazing fast vehicles, and trickle down all the engineering expertise went into the cars and then came into our main car industry, and everybody benefited. Now it's all about the dollar. And there used to be 17 races a year, starting with Australia in March and going through to Abu Dhabi in October, November. Next year, they have got 24 races. So they're racing every other weekend. And right, okay, we'll come on to Russia in a moment.
I'll mention something about car racing. Oh, thank God. Turn that off for their voice.
Sorry, you were saying?
Somebody's phone me. Just 2 secs. Okay.
No worries. Now there are 24 races in the calendar, which means on average there's a race every 2 weeks, which is 7 races too many. And basically, no sooner have they gone to the States, they've got to go to another American country. And it's getting from a sport into a business. And I wouldn't like to, well, I could never be a Formula One driver, but I wouldn't like to be in Formula One at the moment, because it's all commercial. It's all about the money. The only good thing to come out of it is the Monaco Grand Prix, which is the best Grand Prix of the lot, is safe until 2025. Peter.
Right. If I was to mention a name to you, would you know who it is? Jim Clark.
Jim Clark.
Racing
driver.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember, I was away a couple of weeks ago singing down at Lord Bruce's house.
Yes.
In the estate. Do you know what one of the tents was? It was the Jim Clark Appreciation Society. It's a thing. And the people from all over the world, especially Germany, was telling me, that actually they've got money and people pay into it. He was 33 when he died, and people still get involved with Jim Clark things. And I don't know if you know it, but up in my area, we've got a transport museum out at a place called Afford, the Grampian Transport Museum, and it's actually got a racetrack on it, a little racetrack. And I was telling them about it, and they never heard of it, so they're going to wait a book. I said, you really need to go up there and meet people. But I was absolutely flabbergasted that Jim Clark still had an appreciation society.
Yeah, I mean, all racing drivers have a very high profile, and it's basically, to do a job like that, you've got to have the skill. So it's not just about the celebrity side of it; it's about the skill. Yeah, and certainly from Jim Clark through Graham Hill, all the way down to Nigel and everybody who's actually been involved in the sport, and not to forget David Coulthard either, Peter.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still commenting on Formula One, and he's got a great presence. It's full of characters. It's full of people with skills. And I just think the it's gone wrong with the money. But
yeah, it's all about money now. Yeah. Now, Zen Mice is asking a question about Russia.
Right. Okay. So, how are you feeling about the Russian situation, Peter?
It's getting dangerous now. However, from what I watch on other social media platforms, is things are not well in Russia at the moment, because he's now calling up 18 to 60 years old.
Yeah, mobilising 300,000.
Yeah, he's mobilising. However, they're doing things so they don't have to get called up. And I think it's the border in Sweden. A lot of the young men are leaving to go over the border of Sweden. But Sweden have closed the border to them. Okay?
Yeah.
And they're getting imprisoned for 10 years if they don't sign up. And when they go to prison, they're coming in and saying to prisoners, if you go with us to Ukraine, you'll get your freedom. Catch 22. So I do worry that he may use tactical nuclear weapons, which is, for tactical, it means just localized nuclear weapons.
Well, in order to feel fear, we just need to hear the word nuclear weapon, and we get straight away get images of weapons going from Russia over to London and over to the States, and we get Armageddon. And as you just said, Peter, he is talking of tactical nuclear weapons, which are, they're not a good thing, but they're not international. They would be used within Ukraine just to obliterate areas. And I think back in February, when he first invaded, it has never felt like he has the right to do so. And I think the Ukraine resistance has surprised him and surprised the world. Yeah. The support from countries around the world sending arms, sending cash, has meant that Ukraine is actually fighting on behalf of the rest of the world, well, almost the rest of the world. And everybody wants to see peace. President Zelensky put out his thoughts about peace yesterday at the United Nations. Whether Russia will actually agree or not, a different thing entirely, but he has actually been putting forward peace proposals.
It's a proxy war. And the thing is with Russia, they don't like to be seen to getting beaten. And however, they've got to be able to climb down naturally. But I think there are. It wouldn't surprise me. I believe there's, from what I've seen, there's been one assassination attempt on him. And I think the end of it may come locally in their own area. Now, remember I told you about a young lady that I followed on TikTok? She disappeared. And I went, wonder what's happened to her. But she came back the other day. She had to leave where she lived. She had to move completely. And what a brave woman. And she popped up again, which I thought was fantastic. And I would say she's risking her life to do what she's doing. You know? But so that's a situation that I can see from what I'm doing. And there's also a new website I'm watching. A guy comes on live and he's got a map and he's showing how Ukrainians are actually encircling Russians and they're cutting off their supply line. And there's a pocket down in the southeast or to the east, and they're just about to be shut off from Russia.
Well, they have retaken 6,000 square miles of territory, which Russia invaded, and they are preparing to do more. But obviously, it was a surprise of the attack because they did a feint and said, we're going to attack here, and then attacked there, and the Russians weren't ready for it.
Yeah.
So they were able to roll up the Russian army. Right, point from Zen. Does the current situation seem less dangerous than how it felt during the Cold War years?
Well, I would say it was more dangerous now because I actually served in Berlin in the Cold War years when the wall was up.
Yeah.
And at no time did I feel threatened. I had a great time. But it's more dangerous now than it's ever been. And yeah. I used to watch a guy called Bald and Bankrupt. Have you heard of him?
No.
He was actually in Russia. He's British. And he's been in Russia. He's been in Ukraine. And he was pulled in Russia one day. And they've actually released his interview. Right?
Yeah.
I'll try and get you a link to it. It's quite interesting. I won't go into it and take up the time, but he was actually kicked out of Russia. But they pulled him in and questioned why he'd done this. But YouTube had written to him to say things, and so did the Ukrainian embassy. And it was things against Russia while he was in Russia. So they found him, interviewed him, and he's never allowed back into Russia.
Yeah.
Bald and Bankrupt. Look him up. It was quite interesting. But you see, there's something else that's going on. Do you know about Iran at this precise time?
Fill us in, Peter.
Right, okay. A 22-year-old lady didn't wear her veil. The religious police battered her to death. Okay? What do you think happened next?
Don't know.
The people are on the streets, burning police cars, beating policemen up, burning their barracks down, taking off their headscarves, waving them in the air, old grannies and everything. I would reckon there's going to be a massacre in Iran, or there is going to be some political changes because the people, they tore down a flag post, which is a capital offense. It's death, and they're doing it. So the people in Iran, I would say, have probably had enough. They nearly done it last time. So it's one to keep watching. I don't, obviously mainstream media haven't shown it, but I've seen lots of videos of it because they're getting the videos out to certain channels. Very interesting.
Yeah. We currently have the sun shining today in wonderful Wiltshire. We currently have problems in the UK, don't we? In Turkey.
Oh, yes. Are you going to mention it?
I'm happy for you to mention it, Peter or John.
You've gotten very faded, Stephen.
I know I'm fading away. Just bear with me a moment.
Literally.
Well, so John stays in Birmingham. What's happening in Birmingham, John?
Nothing. The biggest thing that there's a row about in Birmingham is somebody's stupid comments on Facebook after somebody committed suicide in front of a train last night.
Okay, well, that's
No,
not good.
sorry. In the Midlands, there's all-out war taking place because is it because of a cricket match, Peter?
It started with a cricket
Well,
match.
that's not here. That's Leicestershire. That's
No, not at all. Birmingham has got problems. I can't remember the place, Stephen, but Birmingham has the Muslims and the Hindus fighting one another in Birmingham.
That's right.
It's not on any of the local news.
No, I try to remember the name of it.
It's national.
What's the name?
It's been on BBC and on Sky
Yeah.
and possibly on GB News as well. So it's official. And it's been ongoing, and the local leaders have got together and said they're one family. I mean, race relations in Britain has improved immensely. This is the exception, not the rule. Yeah, but the trigger was a cricket match, and it's just got out of hand. You've got running battles in the streets, and the police being unable to keep peace. Keep the peace. Yeah, we found it.
Nothing on the local news at all.
Well, you said
how to stifle these things, isn't it?
Yeah, as you said, you're in a different county, John.
So. It was in Leicestershire. All this fighting. It's not in
Birmingham too. What's the name of the place?
Okay, in Birmingham. Yeah.
Yeah.
In Smethwick, which is actually not in Birmingham, it's in Sandwell.
Okay, that's the name of it.
There was a protest after a 18-year-old that was arrested on suspicion of possessing a knife. It was the blooming temple that called the police.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's not that big. I mean, I'm looking at the pictures. If there's 40 or 50 people there, that's it.
Yeah, we're talking in the instance that Peter and I are talking about. There are hundreds of people involved.
Well,
and not only that,
that's in Leicester. It's not in Birmingham.
So if just a minute, I just want to let's just drill down on this, Peter. If something doesn't happen in Birmingham, if it happens anywhere else in the UK, it's not relevant.
No, Peter said it was happening in Birmingham.
I took it to be Birmingham. The way I see it was Birmingham. It's Smethwick, wherever that may be. I thought
Smethwick is where I said to you, there's not hundreds of people. It was a protest outside one temple. Yeah.
Be careful what you look at. They may take a picture that suits them.
No.
Anyway, so in the Leicester one, there were calls to travel to Leicester all over the country, and people were travelling to Leicester.
Yeah. But that was two races, if you want to call them that, arguing with each other. The event in Smethwick was just people from the same mosque. They were angry because the mosque called the police.
Yeah, we knew nothing about that, John, because it's in Smethwick and it didn't make the national news. Yeah. So we're talking about two separate incidents. I think that the one in Leicester, though, is, and we've got Zen's take on this.
Right.
Right, in a criminal law, a violent offence against public order involving three or more people, like an unlawful assembly, a right involves a gathering of persons for an illegal purpose. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the update. All right, shall we move on to something that's
Could you
I'm trying to find good news. Trying to find good news is always.
Could you use Chrome yesterday, folks?
Guess what?
Could you use the Chrome browser yesterday?
Yeah.
No.
Do either of have malware bites?
Used to have a long time ago, John.
Yeah, well, Malwarebytes flagged up problems with Chrome yesterday and stopped people opening Chrome
I'm
because
just getting fed up with these
they'd let
pieces
a
of software.
certificate lapse.
Was it a false negative?
No, they'd let Chrome. The Chrome guys have owned up that a certificate had been allowed to lapse.
Right.
And Malwarebytes picked up that the certificates was no longer valid.
Right. Talking of certificates lapsing, John and I. John, when's the last time you went to Empire Cred?
I've been on it quite a bit recently, funnily enough, but that too suffered from certificate failure.
Yeah, because that's the site's down at the moment, isn't it? It's down for Angelica. I just wanted to check.
Last went there.
Right, Empire Cred is where we spent 10 years of our life, Peter.
It's 12.
Empire, sorry?
Empire.cred, networking site.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, I think we've all been on there at
Penny,
one point.
Penny somebody. Penny somebody.
Oh no, that's not Empire.
That's Academy. That's Penny Power.
Yeah.
Over
Penny
to Zen Mice. Just saying, technically, a riot only needs 3 or more people. Thank you.
Yeah.
Empire
Okay.
Cred / user login. Well, I can get there, but it warns me it's not secure.
Right. Okay. But you can proceed.
Well, I've got the login. If I could remember what my login was.
Right, but basically, because they've this is a good point, because they've let security lapse, you can't get in because it's now just an HTTP site. There's no security on the site at all. Well, there may well be security, but Google doesn't think there is. Is that right, John?
Google doesn't think that its certificate is any good. What about our friends at Bing?
Now, that certificate, basically, you've got to renew your certificate to have a secure website.
Right.
And if you don't, then Google says your website is not secure. We're going to warn people about it. And in some cases, they just downright stop people going to the website.
I'll tell you what gets me.
Yeah.
I'm paying for Bing adverts because I keep getting your Bing adverts paid, and I haven't really seen it coming up using my software that tells me where everybody's coming from.
Oh.
So I'm just going to have to look at that because I was working at my pay-per-click today. My clicks have been
Empire Cred on not Bing. What's the damn word I'm looking for?
John. Language, Timothy.
What, damn? I don't think that's bad. It's in the book, isn't it? You can get straight in anyway on Microsoft.
Right. Okay. So the site is still there if people want to use it, but it's not got its certificate.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. They did say one day it would be rigidly enforced, and I thought it was money for old rope at the time, John. Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah, just extra income.
I think you're about 8th, aren't you, in the UK?
I don't know. I've given up, John. I haven't. Right. A true story. Okay. I was an admin at Empire Cred. We can tell the story now. I was an admin at Empire Cred, and as a reward for being an admin and taking all the flack from people, I got free membership of Empire Cred, but also got free membership of the what's the posting system, the multiple post
thing. Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I got free membership of that as well. But then I sort of stayed in the moderator chat on Facebook, but didn't do anything. And then a couple of years down the road, I got this letter from the chief financial officer of the owners of Empire Cred saying, "You owe us $2,200. Thought, what? Yes, it's your fees for the automatic thing, which we've not charged for 2 years, and I think we should charge you now. If you pay, we'll let you back on Empire Cred." And I thought, no, that's not going to
Well,
happen.
it's changed hands since those days.
That's it. Who's got
Yeah.
it now?
It's run these days by the photographer guy in London.
Oh, right. Okay. So it's basically in new. All right. Now that's an update we weren't aware of, John.
Well,
the site's
Angelica still plays it because she's passed me recently.
Angelica runs.
11th.
Yeah, Angelica runs missions on there to her blog posts. Yeah. Yeah. Still using it. Okay. Well, if the old crowd have gone, then I might just take a look back. Just who's actually admins these days? Do we know? He must be.
Name. I'll think of his name while we're talking.
That sort of is a better explanation of why certificates.
Him and his wife are running it these days.
All right. Okay.
But maybe
I'm behind.
Problem getting the certificate renewed from an ownership viewpoint. Maybe they're being awkward.
Yeah. Could be. I mean, if they're making any money from it, then more power to them. But most people who play the game don't pay.
I never paid.
Yeah, well, I didn't get paid, but I got paid in kind. Right, sorry, Peter. We just wanted to, we solved a problem there. I think that's really good. Okay. Hey, what's happening in Aberdeen, Peter?
Absolutely nothing. The city's dead. Having said that,
yeah.
You know, I went out on my bike yesterday and I went to various places. I got so much done. I put my run up. I called it Mobile Office Cycle. I went down to my accountant's, hand stuff in, went into the cafe and met a couple of people in the cafe near it. And it's amazing what I picked up. We've got one of my customers who runs a letting agency, and the other guy he was with, he runs a job agency, getting people employed in that. And I says, how's things? He says, we can't cope. The amount of work we're getting. I says, who's coming here? He says, the job market's opened up again and people are coming to Aberdeen and they're looking for accommodation. They're renting it.
Yeah.
And the other guy says, the biggest problem we've got is getting people to take on a job. I've suffered that recently. And then I got on my bike. My next task was to go and get my favourite. I got them from Farm Foods, and that is my pork crackling. So I bought, there was only 10 bags there, and I thought, well, I'll leave one for somebody. And I went, no, I'm taking them all. And I put them in my bike bag, and then I travelled. I says, I'm going to do a bit of mileage. And I went out and I had a coffee at my favourite Costa, and I met someone there who hadn't seen me for years and didn't believe it. She couldn't believe it was me because she was crossing my path. And I said, hi, how you doing, Moira? What? And she couldn't believe it because I'd lost so much weight. So that made me feel good. Then I went round the corner and went into someone else. And this poor guy's phone never stopped. I won't tell you who it is. People complaining. I thought, Peter, thank God you've got a good business running there, touch wood. And then I cycled home, and it was about 22 miles by the time I got home. So it was actually a very productive day on my bike, meeting people. Cycling doesn't mean you're out there head down, bam, 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 bam. It means I use it to get around. So it was good. That was me.
Me is this. And also this. And also this. It takes a lot of gear to go for a walk these days. You used to just be able to go out the door and that was it. But I started on Tuesday. Angelica was busy all day, so I had a chance to go for a walk on my own. And I did. I walked all the way around the outer edge of Devizes, which is 4 miles. And I did an even pace, 20 minutes. I thought, blowing heck, 20 minutes a mile. Because at my age, of course, 20 minutes a mile is pretty good going. So I repeated it again yesterday. And in the first mile, I did it in 15 minutes, which is anyway, I did the whole walk yesterday. I did 5K in 59 minutes, 56 seconds, which means that not only am I in sort of a good place to be at the moment, but in addition to that, Park Run, I've actually now started Park Walk. So you can actually go to a park run and you can walk it. Yeah. And to walk it in 59 minutes, 56 seconds will be a respectable time for walking. So second week in October, Angelica and I will be off out doing our first ever park run, park walk, park run. And then the beauty of it is park runs take place in towns all around us, and we can do a different one each week. So travel the country and do a walk at the same time and get fit. So park run, park walk. And of course, I'm celebrating by getting myself, Peter and I were talking earlier, these are aftershocks. And I've had these for about 3 years. I've got a new pair of aftershocks arriving today. The thing is, I actually put these in my carousel on Amazon, and people are actually buying, but they're not buying this model because this is the old model. They're buying the new model. So I've got the new model arriving today. But
what's the name of the new model?
Aeroplex, AERO Plex.
I've seen another one. It was called Move.
All right. Okay. Yeah, there's several. So when I did my walks over the last 2 days, I paired these with the Samsung Galaxy, and I was listening to music. And the music, this is going to seem strange, but the music makes you walk faster. Get a good piece of music and you get the rhythm, and you just get into the rhythm and you just walk faster. So that's why I've got a new pair of these coming.
So you can mention this on Amazon Live next time, but my friend who is partially deaf has to wear hearing aids, and I have trouble when I'm on my bike. I give her a loan of my aftershocks, and she was absolutely amazed. She goes, when the phone, she goes, Peter, it's actually better than my hearing aids. I says, yeah, because they're using bone conductor.
Right. That's the beauty of them. They go over your ear, and they are bone conducting headphones, so the sound is not traveling through your ears. So if you've got problems with your ears, they're being bypassed, aren't they? And the sound goes through your skull.
But having said that, for cycling, you've yet to beat Terrano XT. Absolutely. I give her a shot. I put it on her head and put it on, and I phoned her, or I put on YouTube. She goes, that's too loud. A deaf person.
Yeah.
Great.
And it's over to Solihull. What's happening, John?
Not much. I've already told you. Everybody's sort of chilling post the event. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Even Birmingham's quite quiet.
What do you think it's going to take to rejuvenate the country? Happy days are here again.
Not your singing, Peter. Not your singing. And that's your country, isn't it? Your country you're going to rejuvenate, is it?
No, I never got that. Say that again.
I said, you said, what will it take to rejuvenate the country? I said, what, your country? Scotland?
Isn't Britain my country?
No, your country, Peter, is Great Britain.
Great Britain, yes.
Great Britain is not a country. It's a union.
A union, okay. So what's it going to take to rejuvenate our union?
Multiple countries. What?
So
you mean the
money's got to move, I think, to make things happen. The thing they announced this morning was that the living wage is going up to £10.90. So they are doing something at the bottom end, but of course, living wage is voluntary. It's not a legal thing, is it? It's not something you've got to do. It's just a voluntary.
Well, the thing is, I've had 2 increases in wages recently, okay?
Yeah.
for my staff, but I haven't put anything on to my customers, despite the fuel, despite everything. But I'm going to have to do it. My biggest fear, if I say to my customers, they'll go, do I really need this? And I'm getting coffees and takeaways and stuff like that cancelled already. But when they get a rat in their premises or a mouse or something like that,
yeah, and health and safety and all that is closing down.
Yeah.
They'll be on the phone, won't
they? They think as a scale, we're maybe 2 out of 10, thinking, don't need them, until they get a rat in their premises, someone reports it, and then they're a scale of 100. Could you come in, please, quick as you can, quicker than that, actually, quicker, get in, please. And that's what happens.
I still don't think your country is going to make all of us get happy, Peter. Sorry. I know you're singing, but I think we need something more dramatic than just you singing, Peter.
What I think we
Tell
should
me what that dramatic event is. I don't know the answer, but we really need something. You know, I'm expecting interest rates to go up today.
Right. Oh, yes, it's a budget today, is it?
No, interest rates are set, but budget's tomorrow, isn't it? Friday.
It is tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, budgets, interest rates are set by the Bank of England's monetary policy group.
Do you think it would help scrapping the threshold of, I think it's 12,500 before you pay tax? Do you think if they'd done away with that?
What, and everybody paid tax quicker?
No. What is it?
It needs to go the other way and needs to be more like 15k.
Yeah, something like that. More, that's what I was trying to work out, because they said, likes of billionaires and millionaires, do they really need that 12,500? Do millionaires need the 400 quid that's everybody's going to get?
Either we're all equal or we're not all equal. Yeah, and at the bottom end, they're trying to make everybody equal. You know, in the past, and I'm not saying any particular government, they've tried to make it hard at the top end. So, where do you go from there?
Yeah. Maybe we need some shared ideas that we can all get behind. You mentioned you like the standard pump and selling or really fuel. Well, the thing is, I like that because that's me. I'm an ex-soldier and I love all that stuff, the ceremony and the drill and stuff. But, I was asked, here's the thing, I was down and I met an RAF guy who had a beard, older guy. And I says, what's the RAF having a beard? He says, I know. I said, I've got a beard now. He says, but I was totally against it. This is what happened. He says, this is what happened. Guys were coming in to the RAF recruiting stations and said, oh, I'd like a career. Well, that's great. Then they said, well, I have to take my beard off. And I went, yeah. And do you know what they replied? I couldn't believe it. I'll have to take my beard off. I'm not joining. And he says, we were losing good people all because of a beard. And it goes against the grain. Even I've had to give up with my business saying, if you wear a beard, just wear a beard. I'm past caring. Just do the work. And I used to be like that. And look at me today. But here's the thing. If I was to go and see a customer after this, I would be shaved. That's me. And so, but that was the reason the RAF started. They were losing too many good people. What say you, Stephen?
Yeah, I agnostic. I enjoy having a shave every morning. So, but we're all different, and certainly,
I can remember the days when mine was sort of reddy brown, not silver like it is now. And the hair's getting more silver as days go on.
It certainly puts age on me, doesn't it? When I shave, I've really got smooth skin. That's because I don't drink. 18 years, coming up in November, 19 years, into my 19th year. And but I'm getting old now. I've got problems with my hand and here. I've got problems on my right foot. I'm
I
starting
mean,
to feel.
I've got a problem with my hand, sort of like a line across here. Yeah. I don't know what I've done, but I've obviously done something to it because it bloody hurts.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm scared to phone the doctors nowadays. I just don't feel. You like that? If you had a problem, would you phone your doctor just now?
What's
No.
the point? We'd never get answered.
No.
Why would Stephen? That's interesting. Why would you not phone?
Basically, well, fortunately, I don't need to, but I haven't been to the doctor for years. You're asking the wrong person, Peter. I haven't been to the doctor, apart from my eyes. I haven't been to the doctor. Just digressing onto eyes. Opticians now seem to be checking for glaucoma when you go for an eye test, and Angelica's been referred to a clinic of her choice, and the one I went to said, sorry, we don't have any appointments. So she written in mitigating circumstances and saying, my partner Stephen had 2 successful operations with you, can I come? And you've got to plead to get an appointment.
Well, that's interesting. Do you know where I was yesterday morning, 9 o'clock?
No, not yet, Peter.
I was at the opticians, and I've got a shout out for Duncan and Todd. They done an expert analysis, and so I was looking in, and she says, you're starting to get, is it glaucoma when the eye starts to go shady? Is that the name of it?
No, glaucoma is when your vision narrows.
Okay, what's the other thing?
Your peripheral vision goes.
Right, so
slowly.
this is
But there is
cataract.
medication for it.
Okay, so she says you're starting to get cataracts in your right eye, Peter, because you're borderline. If I refer you, it'll take a year anyway before an operation, but I don't think you get it just now, because I says, well, I'm a driver, and when I also on my bike, when I turn round to look back, I can't see. And she goes, I'll tell you what I'll do. She says, I will put you in for the operation. She says, however, would you go to Glasgow for it? Because that's where they're doing them. Because the waiting list, I says, I will go down. I says, because it'll only cost me £1 to get there in the bus. I will go down.
Yeah, the thing about the operation itself is either local anaesthetic or not, and it takes 20 minutes. And the results are just totally amazing. I mean, I can see in colour now. The colours fade when you've got cataracts because you just can't see. Now I can see a lot clearer. The only thing I need is reading glasses, which are £5 from Amazon. And I'm fit now. My eyesight is as good as it has ever been.
Yeah.
And so, as far as the operation is concerned, I would, if you get the opportunity, Peter, I'd just go for it, because you don't. Yeah, the only thing you can't do after the operation is drive straight after the operation. Yeah. You've got to wait 24 hours. So you've got to be prepared to stay overnight. So because you've got drops in your eyes and your eye vision is blurry. The following day, it's all cleared up, and you start to get your vision back. And after sort of 7 to 10 days, it's just incredible.
I got eye drops yesterday, so Sheila took me. I couldn't drive after, and I did feel my eyes fuzzy, but later on I was able to go out on the bicycle in the afternoon. But I've also got I've got to get wipes. I've got to clean my eyes because I've also got problems in my eyelids, and she goes, you've got to clear that up before you get an operation anyway. So that's all that's happening. My body's starting to fall a bit.
Okay. Now, a question that we haven't tackled before. I do need to know who Zen Mice is, but what would you say are core British values? What are the cornerstones of British society? I'll go first with the easy one, monarchy.
Honesty.
Honesty, yeah. Bulldoggedness, if that's a word.
Yeah.
Standing up for your values.
British values. I was just about to say British values. I mean, for instance, if there's any, now look at the size of our country. if there's a problem and America gets involved, what's the first country that asks for help?
Us.
Us. Because we've got a well-trained army. We did believe in fairness, whether you don't like that or not. And you know, I just think it's great to be, I'm proud to be British. I really am. And I don't mind saying that. And I like being British. If I was abroad and says, where are you from? I'll say Britain, United Kingdom. That's where I'm from.
I think one of the values that we have, which isn't in every country, especially Russia, is freedom of speech.
Yeah.
I mean, as you alluded earlier today, Peter, basically in Russia now, if you speak out against the war or the government, you've got 15 years in prison ahead of you. And
well, I would be. Have you heard of the Free Speech Union, which I'm a member of? You know about that?
I think you've spoken of it in the past, Peter. Yeah.
Well, PayPal have just cancelled them.
Oh.
Toby Young.
Yeah.
Somebody's been sitting trying to get someone on him, and they've just cancelled them. And if you've even got money in the bank, they've cancelled them. I think, which is atrocious. And they have been responsible for getting many people their job back at Free Speech Union, whether they're left, right, or centre. They've won for them. They didn't take any bias at all. This is, you've been sacked unfairly, we will fight for you. It could have been somebody they hated, but this says, we will fight for you. And I'll tell you someone who will probably, have you heard of Russell Brand?
Famous comedian, yes.
Well, he used to be a right lefty. Go and listen to him now. Wow. That's all I'm going. I mean, I didn't like a guy, but boy, is he speaking the truth just now.
Yeah.
Absolutely truth. Amazing. He will go from YouTube eventually. I can tell you that. So what they're doing is they're all getting their own platforms. You know, like Stephen, you had a platform where you can go onto your website. There's many people doing that now. By the way, Rumble shares are climbing. They've just went on the stock market, Rumble. I think I might buy shares in them.
Just a minute. Just let me, I'm going to share screen.
Okay.
Just give me a second. And hopefully, if this works, we should be good. And I'm going to go over here and over here. Not for the first time, I've actually started. It's funny you should say that, Peter. I've actually started a new website. This is it. It's called stephenjhealy.net.
Right.
Oh. Okay. And that's total AV. Okay. And as you can see, just a second while it comes up, we should theoretically be on it. We should be live on the site at the moment. I'm just waiting for it to fully load. And we should be live on the site. Okay. And it's not coming up. I mean, this is the thing about demonstrating something that, oh, there we are. It's coming through. And in a second, we should have, wait for it. We should have, it's trying to negotiate. It will get there. I'm sure the site's not finished loading yet. The problem is that broadcasting and sharing a site you're broadcasting on is a mega use of resources. And the computer at the moment, I'm just going to close a couple of tabs. So, oh, there we are. There we are. We are live. Okay, so we're actually live on the website at the moment. And if we come back to us and I go picture in picture or similar, okay, that should change to the three of us in a minute. Although, as you can see, I've slowed down a little bit because I'm using too many resources on my computer. So yeah, I agree with Peter. Now is the time to have your own website. I'm going to close that because it's slowing me down tremendously. But there you have it. It's a work in progress.
Can you direct people? Sorry, Stephen. Can you direct people to go to your Amazon Live on that site?
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
you can get them to leave an email, and then once you get an email, put out a group thing saying I'll be on at this time. That's
Yep.
the way to do it now. You know,
Yep.
don't rely on FB either, because
Right. Okay.
groups have what.
In terms of social media, just a moment. Just let me type this in. My app of the week is, I could spell, just a minute, I've got to make sure I'm spelling correctly. Yeah, okay.
It's the 5-pound glasses from Amazon. I'll have to look at them.
Of course they are. Right, okay. On AppSumo at the moment is an app called Radar, Radar. It's a social media app, allows you to actually plan your social media calendar, your postings in advance. And I'm using it now. I plan my post for the first week in October. They all go out in October. But Radar is from Turkey. It's a Turkish software house.
Does
And
it
it's
do
on
the
AppSumo.
posting or just the calendar?
Sorry, John?
Does it do the actual posting or just the calendar?
It does the posting.
Oh,
And
right.
it posts to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twitter, it posts everywhere, including your own website.
All
Yeah.
right.
So you can schedule posts. It's on AppSumo. It's $59, and it's a lifetime deal. And it's a no-brainer. Yeah. In terms of planning your social media posts, tracking, it's got tracking in there. You can track Aberkill and see all mentions of Aberkill anywhere on social media. It's got its own hashtag. It's got its own URL shortener. It's just for $59. It's a steal. Yeah, it's got everything you actually need to run your social media. And the other thing is that it is graphically gorgeous. Yeah, it's not some hack been put together. This has been grown over the years by people who know what they're doing, and it's a high quality site, which I started using last weekend when I saw the $59 deal. In fact, I'll feature it on next week's Blabbing for Britain. Yeah. Okay. On that,
$20 a month if you don't buy the lifetime.
no, you've gone direct to the website, but yeah, it's $59 and you get everything you get.
Open.
Right. Okay. $59 and that's it. It's a one-off payment.
You know, I'm realising the time, guys, but however, it's amazing how subscription software is working, because I've now got a karaoke, right, that I pay for £7 a month, and it can practically get every song I want now. No, to come on, and you can get 1,000 that you can keep once you've played it, and if you like it, you can actually get them offline. So the subscription model is working.
And as is the lifetime deal, the LTD. Okay, John, it's over to you after Peter's in.
It's over to me. So it's goodbye from the scruffy correspondent from Scotland, who usually turns out immaculate with his stuff all over his skin, letting him shine. It's goodbye from our correspondent in Wiltshire, and it's goodbye from myself in Solihull. See you soon. Bye.